Hello everyone, this is Rafneet here. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a hot minute. I know. I have been away for I think almost 5 months now. The last video I posted was back in October. I will touch bases on that. But before, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to my channel because I make a lot of panning videos and I'm planning to make some more videos related to shopping my stash. I guess it's enough of ranting. Without further ado, let's get started. I got married last year in November and majority of my time was spent in before November was spent in wedding preparations. I went back to India to get married. Me and my husband, we live here in Canada, but we are both from India and our parents live there, so we went back for our wedding celebrations. So after my wedding, I came back, I moved in with my husband, and I received the news that my father got sick. He was hospitalized, and so I just rushed back home just to be with him. But by the time I got to the hospital, he was like on his last breath. He couldn't, yeah. So long things short, unfortunately he couldn't make it, and I used my time off for just being with my mom and my grandmother. Anyway, that was the reason why I was away. Now I am back. I just want to give you guys brief updates on my last year's planning projects. I had 3 projects going on, which I never updated you guys on after October, I guess. So the first one is project 10 uses. So in that project, I was working on these 3 palettes. So the first one is subculture. The next one is ABH Jackie Aina. And the last one was the Star Wars Mandalorian The Child palette by Colourpop. And I was randomly selecting shades from these 3 palettes to work on 10 times, or to use them like 10 times basically. And I was able to hit 10 uses goal on 6 shades from the Jackie Aina palette. And those 6 shades were Soleil, Pinker, Dwalas, I guess Lituation, Edges, and Ginger. I was working on Shookington, but I think I didn't quite get to like 10 uses on this one. Overall, I am really happy with how this palette is looking. I think it's looking more used now. Let's move on to the next palette, which was Subculture. Interestingly, this palette loved to be in this project. I worked on quite a lot of shades in this palette, and I had hit 10 uses on Cube, Dawn, Destiny, Adorn, All Star, Mercury, Electric, New Wave, and Roxy. The edges, however, I used it 10 times as well, because I participated in 10 days of yellow challenge over the Instagram. I will link down the creator below of that 10 days of yellow project or challenge, I'd say. The palette that I used the least in this project was Star Wars Mandalorian The Child palette. It's the first version of that. I guess Colourpop came up with the second one. It looks pretty, but I don't think I'll be getting that. The 2 shades that I had hit 10 times or I had used 10 times are Babyface and Float Your Crib. These are really pretty, and if you can look closely, there it is. The Babyface looks quite used. The other shade apart from these 2 is Precious Cargo that I had used a lot. It was in my Labor of Love project pan, and I guess my goal for this was to use it 50 times. It looks quite used. I have some plans for this shade because I think it's the Super Shock formula. it might go bad really fast, like it can dry up. So we'll see what I do with this in future. Moving on to the second project pan, it was the Frankenly My Dear I Don't Give a Pan. In that project, basically we work on the custom Franken products. A Franken product is something that you kind of like make on your own by mixing like two or more products together. I like to Franken a lot of eyeshadows and blushes. This is where I am at with the Franken products. I used a lot of this eyeshadow and I managed to hit pan on this green one. I have talked about these two eyeshadows in detail in my video where I rolled them in. I will link the video down below. And I had another Franken eyebrow powder which was sitting in here, and I finished that and I re-Frankened some more. Then I had a blush. It still kind of looks the same because it's really pigmented and it's gonna take me like a lot of time to get through this one. Also, when I traveled back home, I did not take this with me. That is the reason I did not get any use out of this one. So basically it's totally unused from the last update, which was in October. The last project that I was doing was pan those palettes. So I was kind of doing them in pan those eyeshadows sort of roulette kind of way, because I did finish my pan that palette 2021 quite early in the year. So I decided to like work on 3 older palettes, which were CoverGirl True Naked Chocoholic and 2 of my e.l.f. palettes. Let's go through the first one, which is the CoverGirl True Naked Chocoholic palette. This is how it's looking like today. I did take it back with me the first time, but it kind of like shattered in the travel. So I lost a lot of product from here and here because I guess those were like loosely packed in this one. So yeah, I did not use all of this and all of this shade called Gourmet, I think, and this one is called Loaded. I have used this shade called Milk Chocolate a couple times as a bronzer. It works really well on me as a bronzer. And I am using this shade called Belgium to Franken my brow powder. I can use this as its own in my brows, but I want to get some use out of like my other eyeshadow. It's a gray one in the e.l.f. palette. I'll show you in a moment. I haven't used these 3 eyeshadows a lot. This is how my e.l.f. Matte for Matte palette looks like. These 2 eyeshadows do not belong here. I finished the dark gray or like light black sort of shade that was in here. I used it to deepen up my outer corner. I would use it on my lower lash line. It worked really great for those purposes. Also, I was using this to Franken the brow powder. Now, I have taken out some of this product, like this light gray shade, to mix with that dark brown shade in the CoverGirl palette to make the brow powder, and this is what that brow powder looks like. This couldn't survive the travel either. I lost like some product from this eyeshadow, but most of the uses is from me using it. Lastly, this is how the Summer Breeze palette looks like. I used a lot of these 2 shades for bronzing. That's why they have a lot of progress. I also managed to hit pan on the light pink shade. I don't remember if it had pan the last time. Now I have pan on 5 shades in this palette. Apart from these eyeshadows, I used this black shade a lot. This is a really nice black. I really like it. So yeah, that's where I am at with my previous project pans. I'm still using those products and just working on them in the background. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, take care. Bye.